Dear 11th class economic students, Assalamu alaikum. In our previous few lectures, we discussed various statistical methods like classification and tabulation that help in summarizing the collected data, reducing the complexity of statistical data, and presenting them in a systematic manner. One more method of making the data more interesting and intelligible is to present them through diagrams and graphs. So in this lecture, we will discuss the diagrammatic presentation of statistical data. Dear students, one of the most convincing and appealing ways in which statistical data may be presented is through diagrams and graphs. Diagrams are geometrical figures such as lines, circles, bars, etc., which are used to improve the overall data presentation and offer visual assistance for the reader. So, diagrammatic presentation of data is a geometric technique of presenting numerical information through bar diagrams, pie diagrams, histograms, etc. Or in other words, we can say that diagrammatic presentation consists in presenting statistical facts in interesting and attractive geometrical figures like bars, circles, rectangles, etc. We can also define it as the visual form of presentation of data in which facts are highlighted in the language of diagrams. Dear students, the special feature of diagrams and graphs is that they do away with figures altogether and present dry and uninteresting statistical facts in the shape of attractive and appealing pictures and charts. Now, the significance of diagrammatic data presentation. Diagrams and graphs are extremely useful on the basis of various reasons. Firstly, diagrams give a more attractive presentation of data. It means that the data presented in the form of diagrams are able to attract the attention of even a common man. Presentation of data with the help of diagrams makes it easier for everybody to understand and grasp the statistics behind the data presentation. Secondly, diagrams create more stable effects on the minds of the readers. It means that the impression created by a diagram or a picture is likely to last longer in the mind than those created by figures presented through tabular form. As the diagrams are very catching, this is the reason why newspapers and magazines use them frequently to explain certain facts. Moreover, modern advertising campaigns also use diagrams. Besides being attractive, diagrams possess another merit, and it is that they simplify complexity. With the help of diagrams, we can represent a large volume of complex data in a simplified and intelligible form. If we draw diagrams on the basis of the data collected, they will easily be understood and appreciated by all. Students, diagrams are useful in making comparisons. It becomes easier to compare two sets of data visually by presenting them through diagrams. Moreover, it's with the help of diagrams that we can save time and labor. Since little efforts are necessary in understanding diagrams, they save a considerable amount of time and energy which is otherwise needed in drawing inferences from a set of figures. Diagrams give conclusions at a glance of the data, and no or little mental efforts are needed for the purpose. One more merit of diagrams is that they give more information. They not only depict the characteristics of data but also bring out other hidden facts and relations which are not possible from the classified and tabulated data. And lastly, Diagrams have universal utility. Almost all fields of study, like business, economics, science, engineering, etc., almost all such fields of study make the use of diagrams across the world. Now, coming to the general rules for constructing diagrams. Dear students, while constructing diagrams, some important rules and guidelines should be observed. Firstly, a good diagram should be neat and clean. It should be appealing to the eye and should be attractive. That is, it should attract the attention of a common man. Second important point which we should keep in mind while constructing a diagram is that every diagram must be given a suitable title. The title should convey in as few words as possible the main theme that the diagram intends to portray. Generally, the title is given at the top of the diagram, though at times it is given at the bottom. Dear students, a proper proportion between the height and width of the diagram should be maintained. If either the height and width of the diagram is too short or too long in proportion, the diagram would give an ugly look. So it is necessary to maintain a proper proportion between the height of a diagram and its width. Dear students, the size of the diagrams should match the size of the paper. Moreover, the size of a diagram should be such that all the important characteristics of the data are properly emphasized and can be understood by a look at the diagram. Dear students, scale of the presentation should be decided after taking into account the magnitude of the data and the size of paper on which the diagram is to be drawn. Scale should as far as possible be in even numbers or multiple of 5, 10, 20, etc. The scale should also specify the size of the unit and the data it represents. For example, production of wheat in million tons, the unit is produced in lakhs, etc. Dear students, a diagram should have footnotes and source notes. In order to clarify some points relating to the diagram, footnotes are given at the bottom of the diagram. Source notes are also given at the bottom to indicate the source from which data have been obtained. Index explaining different types of lines or colors or shades should be given in the diagram so that its content can be easily understood and the reader can easily make out the meaning of the diagram. Furthermore, diagrams should be as simple as possible so that the reader can understand their meaning clearly and easily. For the sake of simplicity, it is important that too much information should not be loaded in a single diagram. Otherwise, it may become too confusing and prove worthless. If the data are voluminous, that is too lengthy or too much, two or more diagrams should be prepared, each depicting some identified characteristic. This will do away with the confusion that is created if the entire data with all the characteristics are shown in just one complex diagram. The last and probably the most important point is the selection of the proper diagram to present a set of figures. Students, all types of diagrams are not suitable for all types of data. If a mistake is committed in the selection of a suitable diagram, misleading impression would be created. An inappropriate diagram would give a distorted impression about a phenomenon under study. As such, extreme care should be exercised in the selection of a proper diagram or in the selection of a particular diagram to represent a set of figures. Now, lastly, coming to the types of diagrammatic presentation. Dear students, there are different kinds of diagrams in general use. Amongst them, the significant ones are firstly geometric diagrams, second frequency diagrams, and the third important type is arithmetic line graphs, which are also known as time series graphs. Dear students, geometric diagrams are then further classified into bar diagrams and pie diagrams. Among frequency diagrams, we have to study histograms, frequency polygon, and Augy curve, which is also known as frequency curve. We will discuss them one by one in detail in coming lectures. Thank you.